The video for cheap pea and ham soup. Well, bacon, but much of a muchness. So same as the pea soup, basically. So we'll use some cheap peas. We'll use 500 grams of peas. We'll use 125 milliliters stroke grams of whole milk because we want the fat and the richness from it. Cheap chicken stock cubes. We're not going to use as many. I'll explain why in a little second. And then it's 350 grams of onions. Those are cooked onions that I was roasting some onions. I was just curious about something, so I roasted a few onions in the oven. I'm not going to use them for anything else, so I'm going to use them in the soup instead of the raw onions. Right, so this is cooking bacon, which generally means it's the offcuts from the ends of the bacon that you buy from the supermarket, which normally means that you get some nice big thick bits of, shall we cut into it? Yeah, so there's 500 grams, and this is pretty much the cheapest way of buying meat in the supermarket. Bacon's not the best thing for you because it's full of salt, this type of bacon anyway, but it is by far the cheapest way of buying meat. So, and what you tend to find is that it's like what you describe as the end bits, like the scratchy bits at the end of the bacon that they can't no longer slice into nice bits of sliced bacon to sell in the supermarket. These are the bits at the end that they can't sell anywhere else, that they just sell as cooking bacon. So you normally get a better quality bacon in here, even though it's dressed up as the cheap stuff. So yeah, we'll cut into it. There's 500 grams. I'm going to use 125 grams worth, so half a packet, which should be enough as well. And the thing is, it's generally kind of quite salty. So what I'm going to do is, to cook it, I'm going to cut off the fat. Today, you could render the fat down and use that to cook the onions in, and that would make the soup nice and a little bit rich. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take my 125 grams of bacon. I'm going to poach it in some water to cook it, which what that'll do is it'll draw out some of that saltiness that would just ordinarily be left into the water. And then what we're going to do, because we don't like waste, we're going to use that poaching liquid as part of the stock for this soup, which will kind of add a different kind of flavour. So because that cooking liquid is going to be a little bit salty, we'll probably have to cut back on the stock cubes that we use. So that can make sense. Yeah, so we'll open this, and then we can have a look. Open it up. You can just go through the packets when you're in the supermarket. Just go through the packets and pick out the ones that have kind of got the bacon in that you want. But as you can see, I mean, it's great big chunks of gammon and ham, really, and bacon. Ham's cooked, so it's basically chunks of gammon and bacon, which they've just wrapped up as cooking bacon. So some nice big chunks. So what we'll do is we'll poach that, and then we'll come back when I've done that, because you don't need to see that. The method would normally be the same. So it would be cook the onions in a little bit of water, steam them, add the stock, bring up to the boil, add the peas in, add the stock cubes, add the milk, puree it all together. Then the last minute, just put in we're going to chop up the bacon, so put it in the chopped up bacon, and then heat it back through, and then that will be the soup. So pretty straightforward. So the bacon is now cooked and chopped and out of the stock. That's there. I've chopped the onions and I've put them into the stock and brought it back up to the boil to get the onions to a good temperature. Now we're going to put the peas in, because what we want to do is we want to cook the peas as quickly as possible so they keep their colour. So I've tasted the stock, it's quite nice, so I think 2 stock cubes will be suitable enough. What I did do was I measured how much liquid was left in that pan, and then I topped it up to 500 millilitres. Yeah, cost wise, we're looking at 84p for about 1.3 litres of soup, which works out at 4 portions, which is 21 pence a portion, which is pretty cheap. And then if you're going to have it for lunch with a bit of bread, like homemade bread works at about 3, homemade toast works at about like 3 pence, so we're looking like 24 pence a portion, which is really good, which is not that much more. Obviously the bacon makes it a little bit more expensive. So, stock is boiling, so turn it up even more, get the peas in, and get those up to temperature as quickly as possible, and cooked. They are cooked already, but they just need a blast of heat and a little bit more cooking just to make them a little bit soft, and then the puree down a lot easier. So you can defrost the peas beforehand, but they're still a little bit frozen. So we can pause there, bring that back up to the boil. It'll need to boil for about 5 minutes, something like that, and then once they're nice and soft, then we'll add the stock cubes, puree it, add the milk, purify it again, and then we'll stir in the bacon and we'll see how it tastes, but it should be delicious. Are cooked. You can tell that they're cooked and nice and soft because they squeeze easily against the nicely against the side of the pan like that. Looks like we've lost a little bit of liquid. That might be down to using the pre-cooked onions that might have, because I roasted them in the oven. Therefore, if anything like that, it's going to draw out some of the moisture. So some of the moisture in the stock might have gone back into the oven. So we'll see how we go. Might need to add a little bit more liquid as well as the milk. So we know that 3 stock cubes works in the normal pea soup, so 2 stock cubes in this, and the bacon stock in there will work. Hopefully be suitable. So we don't need to do a taste test. Right, so that looks a bit thick, so we'll add the milk and then we'll give it another pulse and see if that thins it down a little bit. But obviously you want to get to that stage of adding just enough liquid so it purees down a lot easier. So obviously it's not going to get thinner and thinner and thinner the more I pulp it without more liquid in, so we'll probably need to add a little bit more liquid. But milk first and then we'll see how we go. To add some more liquid, which I've got kept boiled, so we can just pour a little bit more in. Probably enough. I'm sure that'll be fine, so we'll give it a taste. Now, obviously the bacon is a little bit salty, so we just need to be careful when we add the bacon back, because we need to kind of compensate for the saltiness of the bacon affecting the taste of the soup. Nice consistency. No, that's lovely. So, bacon in. Give it a move around. You know, you probably want to be a little bit more generous. Well, you can. I think 125 grams is the bare minimum that you can get away with putting in. But obviously, your budget is your own, and you can add as much as you want. But that's all right. A couple of bits of bacon per spoon will be nice. So give it a stir around. Give it a retaste, and then we'll see how it tastes. That's really nice. So, if you want to make a pea and, let's call it pea and ham, but a pea and ham, pea and bacon soup, using all the cheap stuff, that's pretty good. What did we say it worked out at? Did we say it worked out at 84 pence in total, and that's about 21 pence a portion, so there's good 4 portions in there. So I think for a lunch, it would be absolutely lovely. If you wanted to, like same with the pea soup, if you wanted to poach an egg, poach 4 eggs, and gave everyone a poached egg in there as well. Cheap eggs are about 9 pence each, so for additional 9 pence, which would take it up to with some toast as well, so like 31 pence a portion with a poached egg in that. I'd be thoroughly happy with that lunch. And at some point I will do a video on poaching eggs and maybe ham soup. But there you go, another cheap and cheerful recipe.